Alright, let's fire this OpenHours session up. Thanks again for clicking, watching. We're back here doing it again. I want to switch over and show people. I'm actually going to go and minimize before we show any banking information, the web browser. But here is some of the stuff that we do. When you're getting a computer worked on and you're doing a backup, whether you use Fabs, that's a real popular one, we use that. We have another backup software we use. I like Fabs when we're dealing with a lot of data, and as you can see right here, 454 point, and it's counting down, but we're up still at 450 some gigabytes. It was well above it was like 465, 470 gigabytes to start. Not megabytes, 450 gigabytes worth of data. So yeah, that is what takes time when getting your computer worked on. So we're back again. We're gonna do this wonderful tablet screen here. We'll zoom in on that a little. Thanks again anyone for joining me. Give me one moment. I gotta go and kill the team viewer connection from my computer to another computer here in the shop. You can shut that down then over there. The team viewer, not the backup. Alright, so this is where it is. This is the continuation of this, and we still have the other computer here, and that was actually part of our problem. Our apps weren't crashing, they were just taking much longer than expected to run because of the Windows install directory was 700 and some gigabytes of data on a 1 terabyte hard drive, and that was, yes, that was a lot for some of our programs to sort through. Not that they couldn't do it, but we found a faster route to take care of the laptop that was giving us such a headache. So we're going to continue this screen today. Another thing, I'll go ahead and pull up my screen real quick. This is dtcomputers.online, the website. Actually, I saved it, so give me a moment to open it. We're going to change over to just the website and see what I have saved. And I've come to realize I am not good at writing, speech and stuff right, or however you say it. But I did add an OpenHours section to the bottom of dtcomputers.online, the website. I'm going to do the OpenHours here, and then probably over here do the after hours stuff that I do. You know, just a little short sentence or so, maybe a paragraph about it. I want to change it from a playlist maybe to some individual videos. I don't know. I think it looks cleaner as a playlist, so maybe we'll keep it like that. Website, a constant work in progress, as always. It takes a lot to do it, and imagine trying to do it while you're working. So let's get to the main event. Alright, now we're going to go ahead first and we're going to clean the bezel real quick with some alcohol, just to give a nice clean surface for, and that's how you do it. You drop all your Q-tips, make them dirty, and then you don't have to worry about them cleaning. Alright, we're going to clean the surface with some alcohol to give a good clean surface for our adhesive to bond to, and then we will go a little further and heat up the glass so the heat can help bond the adhesive to our plastic and get a good seal for this screen to make sure it doesn't come out. First, let's go ahead and clean up our surface. And if you remember, when we pulled this display out, I don't even know what day we did it, because I did it real late after hours and I did nothing yesterday. There was another project internally in shop that I was working on that took time away from doing the stream. But we'll go ahead. We just want to get any little dust, dirt, grime. Alcohol also will, with enough rubbing, remove leftover particles, pieces of adhesive. So that's another reason for cleaning. We want to try and get everything off there so we can have as flat and clean of a surface as possible for the new screen to stick in. the preferred way by professionals to do this, I don't know. The way we've always done it, yeah, this is the best method we found when doing a glass or digitizer replacement. I keep saying screen sometimes. To be fair, it is a glass screen, but it's a digitizer. It's not the LCD. So we've went around once with the wet side. Let's go back through and wipe the dry side where it's still wet. Alright, a little fanning motion should dry that up, and we can go ahead and let's see. Alright, we have our camera is going to go through that hole, and then we will have our ambient light sensor and proximity sensor, I believe. Those will go through there. Does it line up to where we can peel this backing off when in the display? Well, let's test it. Okay, it looks like it's going to be tight, but we should be able to, right over here, get under that backing film to remove it once we have it stuck down. And what that will do, you can see we have fingerprints on the outer glass. This film, if you can leave it on till you get it mounted, that's always your better option for not getting any fingerprints on the inside. Once they're on the inside, you can clean it, yes, but it is a nightmare sometimes. Alright, and we're going to save the one spot of adhesive as best we can. We don't want to get our ribbon cable stuck to it, so we'll go ahead and get that ready to go in there. And each device is a little different when you go from tablet to phone. When you do have one of your display cables and your touch interface, whatever ribbon cables happen, if they run through the bezel, there's a little bit of a different method for each of them. I'm going to put a little, I know that this is going to wrap up around the motherboard, so I'm going to try and put a little curve to it, and also I want it to stay up out of the way of this adhesive. We don't want it getting stuck down there. That'll prevent our glass from sticking down to the plastic bezel. So let's go ahead and peel this last piece. Alright, can we do it? That is the question. Not that way. Well, let's try it. Alright, got one side, there's the other. You can go ahead. Alright, it is lined up. Can we look? Is it down? Is it down? Yes, okay. We have it lined up the whole way around. Display cable's not stuck in between. It is fed through the bezel. Love that ringtone. Ah, it is through the bezel. Go ahead, and when you're pressing here, don't squeeze too hard. You can, believe it or not, when these are assembled, they are easy to break, but this glass is also harder to break. But if you squeeze too hard in one spot when you're pinching it to get the initial bond of the adhesive to the plastic, it will crack fairly easy. So don't, camera freeze, don't go super hard with squeezing. We're going to go ahead and restart that camera and give it a moment. and hopefully it doesn't freeze for the rest of the stream. Hopefully. Yeah, don't squeeze too hard in any one spot. We're going to put pressure on it later, and the pressure that we will use will be weight once the device is reassembled. So now we have that in the bezel. Now we need to move on to the final assembly. And how we're going to do this is, we know the Wi-Fi antennas go up here in these spaces at the top. We have them there. They can be bent up by the foil stickers that they're stuck to, or holding them onto our metal frame. We have this screen here that we kept over on the counter on our cloth bag on top of whatever it was, hand cream or something. Kept that as clean as possible. We're going to go ahead and we're going to clean this to get any little bits of dust that happen to make it to it, and from just moving and handling it. Not to mention it needs cleaned from the little glass particles from the other broken digitizer. The best way I've found for cleaning these screens, an initial quick cleaning, is with a device like this. I know the down view is not always preferred for showing some things. I don't know. It's something that I got in some kind of electronics cleaning package. I'm not sure where, not sure who sells them. We're at Fine Life Products is what that little label says. Some alcohol or even Windex. I do use Windex on displays. I've never found it to hurt them. And here's a little a little story for how quick the computers can be messed up. And I don't know if this is the record, but believe it or not, sometimes computers get worked on. Oh, before we continue the story, let me say this. When cleaning a display, the LCD part of the display, go ahead and clean it, but when you get to the edges, there is tape there sealing them up, but you don't want to push a lot of clean or alcohol, Windex, whatever, toward the edge, because it can seep under the tape and get in between the layers of your LCD LED display, and yeah, it doesn't look good when that happens. So don't use a lot of cleaner, alcohol, whatever you choose to clean with. And then after giving a good cleaning, it appears as though all the spots where the glass had contacted and left some kind of oil residue, whatever it is that's in some digitizers, we have got that off. We've got the small pieces of glass off. I like to take a microfiber cloth and let the alcohol dry, and then just wipe over it, cleaning up any oils, anything left over. Microfiber usually will take care of it. Not always. Sometimes you got to get the microfiber wet with some alcohol to get that final clean, what you're looking for. That is a fairly clean display, but there are some smudges. We're going to get some alcohol on our microfiber and do it that way. Oh yes, story. So, and this is on more than one occasion, we've had a computer leave here and come back the same day with a completely different problem. And also a computer come in completely hit by, by lightning, a power surge, whatever, another computer leave and end up with the same problem the day that it left. And in that case, I'm saying, I don't know, bad hardware, yeah, I guess it could be. But when you test hardware and everything's good and it works and just it's solid, working, like a workhorse, for something that's used, it doesn't sound plausible that it's just dying. It sounds more like a power/ground issue, if you ask me. That, which relates back to the original problem of a computer that was hit by a power surge or with a ground issue and it fried the motherboard, fried the power supply. And we'll get into some of them repairs in a different stream. Okay, we now have our clean screen. We have our display or digitizer. Now we need to get that plastic out of there. We're going to get assistance from an X-Acto knife to pick up the edge of that matte sheet for protection. Alright.
Get it done. There's no paper. There's no paper in the stand up at all. Here's what I did. Oh, and it seemed like there was paper around it on that one. This is
Alright, so we just got our protective film loose from the adhesive. Now we're going to quickly set this down, flip over our bezel in the clean room, but honestly I don't think we need to. I guess we. What's up? Power cord? It's not that. I moved it. I folded it up and set it somewhere. There you go. There's power right under there, but don't unplug any of my equipment, please. Alright. Back to this. Now, let's go ahead and work on, we have our bezel with the new digitizer, the LCD. To keep everything from falling out, we're going to go ahead feed our digitizer cables through this metal shield. And the way this mounts down. Okay. Before we go further, we're going to flip it over. And it is hard to tell, so you will run into situations where you need to disassemble a device and clean stuff out of the display. Over time is where you will I usually just look through these, and you can tell from looking usually if it's something that's on the outside plastic film or the inside. So far it's looking good. I'm going to call that good for now, and we'll go ahead and reassemble this thing now. From the stream the other day, I do remember a screw in one spot on the LCD that I don't think was accessible from the top, but let's take a look. Quick, we're going to lift up our metal bracket again. Let's lift up our metal bracket and try and keep, we're trying to keep our snap. No, let's move. Okay, so we have that one. We have that one. We have those ones accessible. That one is accessible. And that one sticks out. So it seems that all are accessible.
I was looking at it at 11 o'clock today.
Okay. Let's move this. Alright, looking here at the... Now this is going back together in a different order. Looking at this. Yes.
Yeah. 5%. I looked at 4. Well, here's what you do. it over here. Let me get you a number. All right.
Looking at the
I
profile.
wrote it down on a piece of paper.
We got like
I wrote it down on that piece of paper.
two conversations going on. Looking at the profile, we can tell when this metal is sandwiching the LCD in between it and the bezel. In the digitizer, we have room for this to go in, so we know this needs to go in there. So we're going to lift the bottom up of the metal shield and go ahead and put this in here, and then we can start. I think we can get a few screws in safely.
Back into doing that. I'm doing that now. Yeah, so the paper, yeah, we opened it up. I saw that paper around that roller. Right.
Okay, we have that one in.
I'm gonna take that part here. That's actually, I think what you're seeing is actually the film that actually transfers it over. It looks like it's on the paper. Is that what you're talking about?
What is not going?
Yeah. Yeah, that's perfect.
So we have a part that is sticking. What is it? Oh, okay. It is the center of the ribbon cable. Very good. Okay, we got that in. We have our motherboard. And the motherboard was one of the last things taken out. We have those screws there, roughly in the location where they went. And that's going to go there, under our Wi-Fi antenna wires. We're going to go ahead, remember, if you have new ones of these, try to use them. We are currently out, and this one does not look squashed. And that was the like foamy squishy pad. I don't, there's a name for him, but I can never remember the techie name for it. Okay. I have this. Hey, I need that screwdriver. Thank you, thank you. Alright. Black was on the outside, going by memory.
Install toner and yeah, black on the side.
So we'll go ahead and put those. You know what? I think we gotta wait on the motherboard. Do we or don't we? Well, I don't quite know. Let's look. Let's have a see. Okay, so we're gonna hit that mounting point. That one we're not gonna hit. That one we will though. Okay. We're missing that, which is here. Double checking that there are no screw holes underneath the motherboard other than the one. Oh, more people.
Hello, hello.
Hello, hello.
Is that an actual call? Or is that a BS call? Yeah. going to sleep.
Yeah, but I looked at all those settings and
There's settings that are not easily, when you go in to look at the power and sleep settings, there's settings that are not readily available right there.
Oh, okay, because those ones I all put never, 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 because I got tired of it doing that, and it still does it.
Yeah, there's some settings that just, they're not readily.
And after you get this one done, then I'll swap them out.
Alright, let's find the new work. Gotta print out some work orders. I think this is it. Let's take a look.
It just makes me nuts. I'll be in the middle, I'll be typing something, and then, but at least I don't lose anything, you know.
Right.
It takes me right back to it.
No,
I curse a lot.
That's the one. Let's go back. Is that the 2-pager? Or the 1? That should be our 1. Okay, I'm gonna print some of these, which means we got to move some stuff. Yeah, we're out of our work orders right now. Give me a second. I'm gonna print up some more.
I actually went back to work, so I didn't have a little bit of trouble hitting this trying to get here. I was here the other day and it closed. I tried to call and left a message, and I thought, I don't know why I do that, because I don't answer my phone, so if you call back, I probably wouldn't answer anyhow.
What's your last name, Brown?
Brown.
Yeah, I tried to call.
Yep, see. I see I have a couple missed calls, and it's like, oh well.
Alright. I'm just waiting on these to print. It'll be a second here and it should start kicking.
Do you know anything about cell phones?
Yeah, to an
I
extent.
mean, no, I don't have trouble with one. I just have a weird question. It actually has a lot more to do with like Messenger. The other day I have this person that I communicate with quite often through Messenger. Well, I got this picture, came up on Messenger, and I send back, nice, and I get, did you send that to me? And I said, no, I didn't send it to you, you sent it to me.
It's a scam. It's an online scam. Well, what was you on?
But it was a personal picture. It was actually a picture of the person.
Right, yeah, it's a scam.
Still?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Because I said, well, don't even tell me that. I know you sent it to me. They're like, no, honest to God, I didn't.
You may see a real similar one on Facebook, where you'll get a message from one of your friends saying that whatever that.
Well, I did get one for that recent thing that was going on that said you've been.
Yeah, that same thing.
This wasn't that. This was an actual picture.
Right, we're gonna try and print
and
again.
All it was just a picture, and it's like, okay, no, like I'm gonna send you a picture or.
And it's basically fake accounts that are sending it. It's not your friend. And a lot of people said they didn't get any messages from those fake or cloned or whatever cloned fake accounts, but I personally got one myself from somebody that I've known for years. So there's people saying they did get them, people saying they didn't. I definitely got one. So.
Well, they said they didn't even have this. They said they had this picture on their phone before, but they had deleted it, so they didn't even have it anymore. So, but I told them a long time ago, you know, when you send pictures, they're kind of out there in cyberspace.
Yeah.
And hackers can grab them.
Kind of. Alright. All the X's. Name, phone number, if there's a password to get on the computer, date, the problem. Okay, and sign and date there.
Okay.
So there's that. I'll let you fill that out, and then we'll add it to our workload.
Yeah, we got that going for you.
Yeah, for sure.
I had that same issue with my car. My car's been burning.
Oh, I thought you meant hackers.
No.
No, I was just kidding. Bad joke.
Yeah.
Sometimes it comes up like that.
Hackers get in their car.
Bastards anyway.
It could happen, I suppose.
All this paperwork.
Well, probably the ones that have all the new technology ones. Yeah, probably.
All the electronics? Yeah.
Well, you can probably do something.
Yeah, at one point cars needed...
The same person, all this stuff comes up on his car, too.
At one point cars needed what? Air, spark, and gas? Hey, 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 hey. You got something going on there, sir. Alright, coffee break.
You said it was blue screen. This just did it now. Just turned off.
All for sure it did it. Alright, so we are live. Let's go back. Alright.
Okay, there you go.
Alright, you can just leave that there and we will get to it.
Okay, and if I don't answer, just send a text to that number.
To the cell phone number?
Yeah,
Sure, we'll do that.
I'll even put that.
Alright. Yeah, text or call.
Text I usually do.
She'll check out text,
I
handle them
do
phone
because
calls.
that's how my kids communicate with me. They don't call me.
There's a lot. If I don't know the number, I don't answer.
That's how a lot of people prefer to,
I do, text or messenger.
yeah.
That way, if you don't want to answer them, I'll never go.
Yeah.
It works.
Okay.
All right, dear.
Have a good day. Boy, I really need a camera. I really need a camera that's like mobile, that I can wave around for these live streams so I can show all you out there what we got going on down here. I should take pictures. I'm going to take pictures and put it up from time to time of the nuts. Okay, let's go ahead, uncrinkle our tape, stick down one antenna, make sure this one lines up, and we'll stick it down. We have these two antennas that need plugged onto the motherboard again. I realize this is not a great zoomed in view. I am going to get a different camera in place of the GoPro up here, just for reference. In place of the GoPro up there, I'm going to get a different camera. We have the normal view that you would see a lot of me in the way, and then we have the zoomed in view that I can still kind of get in the way but not near as bad. I want to get a camera that I can actually physically zoom it in, and I'll probably use that as the above cam for getting closer in on repairs and avoiding a lot of the holding it up. So yeah, right now we're just plugging in the two antenna wires, and then we have to run around the border here, reassembling. We have our few daughter boards, and then other than that, I don't think there's a whole lot left to putting this thing back together. A few ribbon cables, and we should be good. Alright, we have a few black screws left on the case from when we disassembled this, and I did say on the last stream when we ripped this down, black was on the outside edge and then silver on the inside edge. So we're going to go ahead and thread these black screws here, and then one here. Should mount that down. Fairly stable, and we'll move on to the daughter boards, and we have a speaker, and I think that's about it. We have to remount a ribbon cable wherever it goes to connect from point A to B. It's the whole point of open hours. You never know what you're gonna get. People showing up, dropping to talk, asking questions. That's why I like open hours. You know, makes it interesting, Dave.
What's that?
Open hours, the little open hour series that I do, because anything can happen. Because the signs, the open sign's lit, the door's open, it's not locked, and you just never know. Okay. Moving on, we have this daughter board here that plugs into the ribbon cable. We have the little white part flipped up for it unlocked. Go ahead, plug the cable in, and then snap the locking mechanism down, mount that. onto there now. The only question I have, what is that? Okay, that's the camera. So before we do that, we're going to go ahead and plug the camera in. The front side of this daughter board is the camera for this device. We have the camera right here on the end. We're going to go ahead and put that, that was a bad view, sorry. We got the camera. We're going to go ahead and put that into the little hole, and then we also have our ambient light sensor and proximity. Let's get our Wi-Fi antenna. We'll go under that. Get the camera where it goes, and then work the ribbon cable in from there. Okay, that's in. We'll relock that again. Now we have a few screws here. We have this one on the corner, which should be silver, silver, black, and then we have that area there. So let's go ahead and try and put some of these in, work our way around this edge. Nope, we got Mom in the house. Hello.
What's that? What's that? Oh, it's hoagie. That was good.
Okay.
Woo! Goddamn onions in there.
Yeah.
Come on.
Maybe like that.
Huh? Yeah, she'll just do it.
Well, put it in the fridge. Don't
I wanted to have some of that damn stuff you made there last week, and I couldn't even get up there. I felt shit down there.
Right here. Okay, so we found out where that goes. This cable will reach over and plug in. We still have our antenna wire and one further data board on this right here. So let's go ahead. Let's go ahead and set this in there and see.
Alright, I gotta go.
Is it daughter board or speaker first? We have a gap, so the speaker needs to go in before this little secondary daughter board. Now we're going to check under the speaker for any mounting points. We have one mounting point that goes through the speaker and a second one that goes through the speaker, so we'll go ahead and mount this speaker down with the two black screws, one here to hold it, and then the other one goes through that secondary daughter board, or piece secondary PCB. Alright. So far so good. Before putting in this other PCB, I'm going to go ahead and route this speaker wire under the edge of this piece of tape, as that's where it was before we had removed the speaker. And there's also a little spot where the wire was tucked in right here. I'm going to go ahead and tuck that back in. Why they did that, I don't know. It makes more sense that that wire would go back behind that. You know what, we're going back behind it. We're not doing anything crazy and risky. Sharp metal edges cut through wire insulation very, very easily, so I'm going against the man. We gotta resist. Can't just give in like that. And let's see, where do we go from there? We can take another final turn. Similar situation. Wire needs tucked in, and in it goes, and then it will run down through here, and that's where we had some tape. We had our Capcom tape with that ribbon cable, if I'm not mistaken. Somebody has blowing up the phone, and we're getting to where we're gonna get out of here for the day real soon. But we got to keep this going and get this back together. And also another job, but that will be tonight. I think I'm gonna do an after-hour stream with it, just for the simple fact of that's the one that I wanted to keep the whole process in the stream, like keep everybody included in that. So we have a black one there. 1 2 3 4 5 6. 1 2 3 4. Okay, well, let's look under our board, make sure we're not covering any holes up. That I did not check yet. Okay, so we do have... Hey Spence.
What's up?
Doing a live stream, man.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah. You doing? Picking up your computer for now?
Yeah, I just want to piss with it for a little bit.
Alright, that's his over there. If you can grab that, Dave. That Dell that you set down there, that he just dropped it off and we haven't had a chance to look at it yet.
Yeah, I'll probably end up back here.
Alright, man, well, good luck to you. 1 2 3 4 5 6. Alright, so underneath here we have a small hole. We know that is indeed a silver screw, one of the shorter ones. We don't want to wind one of the longer black screws down through the LCD and crack it. So we'll lock that down there. That's one out of those gone, and then we have one that holds that in, then 1 2 and 3. That should be a silver one. Let me look at this mess. Okay, that goes in, and that's where our ribbon cable will hit. Go ahead and put this black one in. Do the last few remaining things. See, this is what I was saying, the exact point that I made during the stream about when you work on something, and if it has a lot of screws and you just, granted they're all the same size, but I like to lay them out where they go. Where they actually go versus having to remember, because even with them laying where they have to go, I still have to sit here and look and try and remember what, you know, what's going on with them, where they're going. So, huge problem, no, but still taking a few minutes. And if you're not careful, like I said, you can wind a longer screw through where a short screw would go, and you're gonna break something, oftentimes breaking a screen or winding a long screw into the PCB in the case of reassembling a laptop. Now, I have those two and one final screw that I found where it goes. It is under a sticker right here, and that was the last one in question. We're going to go ahead, and it's one of the ones that mounts down the LCD, or the framework for the LCD, which in that case is these silver ones. Most of the time it is in a spot that is not raised up, so we know it is a short screw. And that goes there. Put our final two in and make the last couple connections. And hopefully this tablet is made great again. Alright. Now, on this ribbon cable, we have and MS. MB would be here, and MS would be for the buttons. And we know the buttons are there. We're going to go ahead and get this plugged in to the socket as best we can. Right, and we have And that will run along there. While we're here, let's get our Wi-Fi antenna plugged back in. Alright, it is in. And we just unclipped it again. Let's plug in this ribbon cable to the motherboard, clipped in place, and we're going to try one more time. If they make these Wi-Fi antenna connectors much smaller, we're gonna have to buy microscopes to start connecting these little things. I don't know how they can go much smaller than what they already have. These are smaller than a laptop. These are what the new AC wireless cards in most laptops would use. So there is that. We'll go ahead and stick our Capcom tape down, holding our antenna wire in place, our ribbon cable, and our speaker wire. Have this make its one final turn and get plugged in to the speaker port on the motherboard. Alright, and where are we at? We have a few connections here to go through. Alright, we have one going there, that is the motherboard. And then we have our two connectors for the digitizer touch interface. One of which we're going to use this sticker to hold in, because this was the condition this tablet had come in. I think it was used to begin with the first time. And yeah, when you get some used stuff that's been previously worked on, you got to be careful getting that, because it's not always in the best shape. So, and this is just being difficult right now. We have two ribbon cables to plug in. They are a nightmare. When they do these split ribbon cables to make a lot of connections, I kind of wish they would keep them bundled up in one instead of doing the two. Yeah, it's always more of a hassle to get it to plug in, I've found, when they're split. And then this is no exception. This is the common problem with these split cables, is they never want to plug in because they're often not straight, or the display was made with a little bit tolerance difference from the last display. And if we don't get this today, we'll pick it back up tomorrow. We should though. I don't see why. So that is literally just off a millimeter, maybe not even that much, from the original display. Yeah, this may require some convincing to go together. At the very least, let's move our bezel that way, see if we can, if there's room to move the bezel. I don't know, because we've been putting pressure on it and it's been sticking, but if we can unstick it maybe and move it. All things are not created equal with electronics, or the same, I guess I should say, not equal, the same. So we're going to try and unstick our digitizer and move it that way a little bit. Possible? I don't know yet, but we're going to find out. Alright, there is that. The rest is coming off fairly easy. And all we really need is just the tiniest fraction of movement from the digitizer. So we're going to go ahead and move it and then drop it back in. Not ideal, not what you want to do, but if when putting these together and has that fixed our problem, let's see if it will go in the socket easily. We might have to order another display, Dave. I said we may have, or another digitizer for this. I know we got one, but it's made, like the cable, it's the cable's a little off. I'm talking like, what's under 1/8 of an inch? Like a 1/16th. It's like a 1/16th difference from the old one. Yeah, the part number's identical, but just you run into that with ribbon cables and that sometimes they're just a hair different. And instead of breaking anything, let me go ahead, if I can get these plugged in with this unstuck, we'll do it that way. So, good repair, going extremely bad. Let's go ahead, we're going to unmount this again. Not recommended. And sadly, not the first time I've had to do this with these transformer tablets. We're going to move our digitizer that way and see about getting the cables to plug in, and then we will restick the front. Not the ideal way to do this at all. Yes, and the cable plugs right in now. Just moving in that little bit. So the intended way that Asus and whoever else makes these intended for you to repair them, no, not by any means. Not recommended. Not the thing to do at all. I can't believe it's that drastic of a difference from the original display. Like, that almost seems impossible. Alright, same thing. It's 4:27. I'm going to give another few minutes into this, and if it does not go, we will have to pick it up tomorrow. Duty calls, it is Thursday. Open hours cannot continue indefinitely. Yeah, all it wants to do is break that socket. Alright. Okay, so we moved our digitizer, not even connected on the front. We're going to try and plug the cables in to the full extent that they go and see what happens. And we are that far off. We need to be in between that.
Borrow that screwdriver.
Yeah, go ahead, man. I'm all done with the digitizer. That's an absolute nightmare. And just for, we're gonna check to the old, new to the old. Laying it side by side, it is off. It is definitely off in its workmanship, and it's off, like I said, by about a 1/16, a little. Yeah, this, what we're running into, the issue here is this, the cable that connects to the motherboard for the digitizer. This is what happens when you get third-party parts with who knows how many factories making them in whatever countries. This needs to be slightly that way, and unfortunately there's nothing we can do about that except hope that we can get it plugged in and hope that it will work when we have to stick the display in, or the digitizer into the bezel. So far this thing has won. And not forgetting that our device has been dropped and smashed a few times, so the bezel is a little out of whack. So is it that? Is it a combination of the bezel being bent and the manufacturing process of this digitizer to a little bit of a different tolerances? I think it's a combination of both. But let's stick these in. We're gonna see what we can get going on with it. I got one in, and hopefully we're going for two. We're gonna try and pinch the cable, not pinch the cable, but fold it. Stick our tape on it from here. I did get them in, but remember, we still have the front to deal with. The front is not lined up, so we're gonna try and tape that one in with our foam tape and keep it there. Keep that one in there, and that's how quick you can go from something working to not working. We're gonna flex, okay, yeah, we're gonna flex our bezel and get our glass digitizer in, and it was literally a combination of both. Will it stay? We don't know. That is that. I need another piece of that stuff. We're gonna get one here. Do a time check because I don't have any alarms set for today. 4:32. We're burning the clock down, people. We're gonna give it a shot with our 3M double-sided. Hopefully we'll hold it together and not let anything flex out of the way. Alright, time for the truth. Do we need a new digitizer that is manufactured with a little bit tighter tolerance? We're going to plug in the battery and find out. There is a certain point too that I might say for anybody trying to do this, that maybe you just give up on the device. It's too old, too broken, too done for to keep repairing. And after it gets smashed or thrown or dropped or whatever so many times, there's a point at where it's really not worth fixing it. If the battery's not dead, this should turn on for us today. Is it that one or this one? Okay, I think it is dead. I don't know what that means. How do we charge it? If we don't have a charger, we're not going to be able to. USB. Oh no, okay, it is turning on. Okay, so we have a screen, please wait, Windows, and I don't think yes, full battery but nothing. So to be diagnosed tomorrow. No touch. I attribute that to the cable is not plugged in all the way. I will see everyone tomorrow. We're gonna fix this mess. If we need a new digitizer, we do. The screen's lighting up, but we have no touch interface as of yet. Thanks for watching. As always, check out the website. I do have the OpenHours playlist there, after hours coming soon, and yeah, tomorrow, Friday. The Friday train wreck coming up. We should have did this tomorrow, honestly.